Hey guys, Jay from SuperHot here. I did want to say thank you guys and welcome to my channel. This is going to be my first video of my new build that I have right here. This is going to be my FC3S NA build or 1988 RX-7. I will do a little build overview on it. I am kind of new to filming, so the proportions and everything, I'm sorry about that. But I did want to go through a little bit of a history with this car. So this is going to be my second build that I am going to introduce to you guys. I did have a first RX-7, or the first one's in my driveway actually still. It is pretty cold in my garage, so I'm not going to open it because it's even colder outside. But yeah, so this is going to be my second build. The first RX-7 I did own that I still have in my driveway is a 1979 RX-7 SA22C with a 12A rotary that comes with a 45 DOCE Weber carburetor, I believe. Yeah, I do. Yeah, 12A. Yeah, rotary. Yeah, I have to remember it because I haven't touched that thing in so long that I honestly forgot that whole element of rotaries. But pretty much we did pick this car up down in Bakersfield. Recently, I did go to Seven Stock, which was really fun. My first time in LA, my first Seven Stock ever. And on the way back, I picked up this nice, beautiful white FC for only $4 grand. The major issue is that it caught on fire. Now the extent of the damage isn't that bad. I have been tinkering away at it ever since I got the car. I think a couple weeks ago. The day after Seven Stock is the day that I went to go pick up this car, and I instantly started tinkering away at this thing. Mostly everything that I've done to the car has just been replacement parts. So I obviously did all the simple things. So I changed, spark plugs, fuel injectors, because the fuel injectors are actually cooked. I'll actually put some pictures or some videos if I can find some on my phone somewhere in the video, just so you guys can see the before and afters of all the parts that I swapped out. But I did change the fuel filter. Fuel pump was actually still good. Swapped over my alternator from the first generation that I did a conversion for, but luckily the alternator is still great. Got new belt, new fluids in there, drained the old fuel. Never put fuel in it just because I haven't really gotten to the injectors yet to put them in to test if they work. But I did actually crank the car recently. If you guys have been following me on my Instagram page, I will look into the description just so you guys can see the build, some of the posts previously with the build. But moreover, everything with the car has been pretty damn good. So we have an original owner, has original 260 miles on the car. The motor got rebuilt at 160,000 miles, which is great. And transmission was but transmission was rebuilt at 180,000 miles, which is pretty good. Luckily, I don't have to do too many things on there. I did actually build my other motor outside, the 12A. It wasn't too hard, so it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with to not really do, I guess. But yeah, so single owner, came from a family. Family was great. Got the paperwork, everything ready for me super quickly. And then me and the homies towed the car down same day, going home, and now it's here in the garage. All right, for starters, I did want to apologize for all the random tools around the engine bay, just because I just try to keep everything organized. But I did take off the hood here, and you can pretty much see a little bit of damage of where the fire took place right behind the manifold. So I will actually dive into that right now. So pretty much the extent of the fire has only led just right under the fuel damper, full fuel pulsation damper. You see my little gimbal here. I think I actually have it somewhere over here. Yeah, I have the original one right here. It's a little disorganized here, so I apologize. But yeah, so that's pretty much just the culprit of the fire right here. The fuel pulsation damper. Now this little part is on the primary fuel rail, which is really deep into the motor. And these things tend to leak really badly and pretty much lay all the fuel on top of the housings and then on the exhaust and then catches on fire pretty much. So this is your culprit. Anytime you have an S4 in a RX-7, this is a big thing to replace. And you'll pretty much find it all in the forums if you are in the RX-7 community that this is the culprit for a lot of the issues, along with just blowing coolant jackets on the actual housings, which is not too bad, but if you're inexperienced or changing motors, then pretty much it's going to suck, but not a bad process. So yeah, so that's where you pretty much see on here. We have a little bit of it right there. I'll try to zoom in for you. You see that fire damage. I did clean up a lot of the damage in there, and I did plug up some of the holes and clean up all the dirty gunk and plastic that was in the motor. I did actually swap out the harness. So this is the original harness right here that did catch fire, right behind the alternator, right over here. So I did go ahead and just make sure I color matched all the wires to make sure there wasn't anything left out on it. And then I did go ahead, and luckily I had a pick and pull nearby that had an RX-7. It was a convertible actually, I think a 1987 convertible, and it had the motor in there with the harness still. So I did go ahead and get the new harness, and I made sure that all the connectors still work. The car does get adequate power, and if you guys saw my story recently, I did actually crank the car. So that was actually pretty cool. But aside from that, though, everything is just general maintenance. We have just, side marker lights right here just need to be replaced. Nothing too expensive. Like I said, I changed the belts out. I changed the fuel filter. Fuel injectors will be in pretty soon. And then just other small things. The plastics inside the car, I did have to change out the glove box right there because it pretty much was just left out in the sun. It was shattered. And I also need to take off this air pump right here. I did actually take it out recently, and I did check out all the rust and the dirt and stuff inside of that, but for some reason it's not moving. And to pass smog, I need that. I just know that usually those OEM these little cat header things right here, I know on the older RX-7s that those actually get a lot of heat into the car, and I'm not too big of a fan of that. Although this is NA, and yeah, it's fine, and whatever the case will be for it, but I'm not too big of holding that much heat, and I don't like a lot of clutter in the engine bay. I do have pictures on my Instagram page as well of my other RX-7, so you can see how the engine bay looks in that one. It is a little bit smaller, obviously, so so it is a lot easier to work on, but it's a whole different story with that car. But yeah, another thing that's really major with this car too is is pretty much the dash. I have it taped right now.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
But the dash is not in the best condition. Like I said, I did actually have this they had it in the sun, and a lot of the plastics in the car was exposed to the sun, which kind of ruined everything. Another thing too to take note that this is a SE 2x2. It comes with the factory dual exhaust, which I am a big fan of. Obviously the white's really nice, and I am a really big fan of the blue interior. Thankfully some of the parts of the blue interior aren't too bad. The seats aren't that bad. I mean, obviously the driver's seat's always going to be like this in the RX-7 because it's just everyone gets in the car and rubs their ass cheeks right across this part right here. So it's kind of something that I'm not really too picky about, I guess. I did actually, when I walked by the car one time, I did tap the mirror and the plastic for the mirror came out, so I have to get another mirror, which hopefully won't be too bad to find. Um, and we have, I think these are 14 by 6s on the dial phone wheels. These are a little like about an inch smaller than the wheels I have on my other car outside. But obviously they're going to be switched to do 5 lug conversion because it's a lot easier to deal with. And there's nothing wrong with small wheels, but personally for me, I like bigger wheels, but nothing too crazy. I have a lot of expectancies with the car. Compression checked it, was really good. Fuel pump worked. Alternator obviously worked. Everything pretty much works. I swapped out the power steering pump right here. It did break, so I swapped it over to a new one from the junkyard, tested it out before putting it on the car, and I felt it humming and vibrating, so that was awesome. I do have to put some fluid in it though before I start the car and bleed it out. And I haven't bled the clutch yet. Clutch does work, but this fluid's pretty shitty, and this brake fluid's pretty grimy too. So everything in there is not the best, but overall looks pretty good. There's no rust in any bad spots. We do have some dings here on the fenders. I mean, the car has been resprayed, but it's not been the best respray. But let's see if I can get that. Yeah, a little bit of respray. And some parts you can kind of tell on the outside of the car. Let me see if I can get a little bit of focus here. Right there, we have a little bit of damage there, and the door, a little damage on the corner panel. I would be able to fix that, pull it out. It shouldn't be too hard, and the door will be easy, but the corner panel is kind of different because I have to go through the wheel well most likely, but I'll pretty much figure that part out. So not much with this car. It's a pretty simple car, body straight, and there's no rust. I mean, the only plan I really think about having with this car is just to enjoy it as a street car, and then just pretty much upgrade from there to a track car or anything else I can get my hands into as like a first timer thing. I mean, I really haven't dabbled with those things, but it has been one of the dreams of mine. I'll be sure to link my social media in the description so you guys can stay up to date with all the posts, since I'm mostly up to date on there. There hasn't really been anything too difficult with the car. I mean, shoot, it looks pretty damn good right now as white, but most likely gonna go and repaint the car, sauce it up, obviously, because this ain't my style. But yeah, if you have any questions, always drop a comment down in the video, or also comment in my post on Instagram as well. And yeah, see you guys later.